because people can be your ally. I have a good friend. He's one of my best friends, love him to life. He's my confidant. But at the end of the day, he said to me one day, I was on a job that I was able to make more money. And he was like, well, Samantha, I was thinking of trying to take that job and have it for my food. I was like, for what? He was like, well, you make enough. It is funny, even your allies who are friends, who push you, motivate you, go all the way for you, still in their mind, women are supposed to make a certain amount of money. Women are supposed to have certain things. And the thought of me having this extra, he didn't think I needed it. Not in a bad, malicious way, but these are the norms that society has set.
Today's guest is Samantha Kaye, a certified life coach with over 2 decades of experience thriving in male-dominated fields. As a supervisor in structural maintenance at JFK International Airport, she's often been the only woman in the room, from operating heavy machinery to leading teams of over 60 men. Samantha learned early on the power of owning her voice and challenging societal norms that try to keep her small. Her mission is to help women who feel alone, overlooked, and outnumbered in male dominated environments step into their full potential. Samantha empowers them to show up confidently, speak up without hesitation, and stop holding back out of fear of being too much. She helps women stop questioning their abilities, stop letting others take credit for their work, and stop diminishing themselves so they can get the promotions and success they deserve. Well, welcome, Samantha.
Hey, Anita, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Wow, what an introduction.
Well, thank you for it. I appreciate it. All the
I'm really
things.
excited for this conversation.
I'm
So,
excited to be here and to talk about it.
thank you. So, after reading that out, what is one of the most courageous things you have done?
The most courageous things I have done is just standing in spite of what I thought the men in the department would think of me. I no longer worry about them. I remember a time when everyone basically wanted me to stay silent and not go for a certain job. I had a supervisor ask me not to go for a certain job because he was going to build something for me later, you know. And what he was wanting to build for me was something with paper and what you think that a woman should do.
Hmm.
But I decided still put my best foot forward, apply for different jobs, and go for them. And I'm not going to say I got them, but it empowered me. That was courageous enough for me going for them, despite what he claimed he wanted for me. What he wanted for me was not what I wanted for myself. So that's the most courageous thing I've done.
Wow, that's brilliant. So, what took you on your journey of thriving in a male dominated fields as a supervisor in structural maintenance at JFK?
Yes. It is so funny. I've worked for the same company for the past 31 years. And when I first came into the company, I was working on jobs that I didn't have weekends and holidays off. And I wanted weekends and holidays off. And the company at the time had a program where we teach you how to do structural maintenance. So infrastructures, building infrastructures, plumbing, let's see what else, roofing, paving. Did I say that? All the things. So I took the class, I passed it, and hence I ended up in the structural maintenance unit, something I never thought I'd want to do. Right, I just wanted it for the weekends and holidays, but I absolutely learned to love it. I
Mhm.
love seeing things built from the ground up, starting from nothing and growing into a beautiful masterpiece. So that's how it all started. And it's so funny. I remember a HR woman from HR, she came and they had classes. And she was like, Samantha, you need to go for a supervisor job. I was like, no, I was a little shy. I'm fine where I am. I'm good. I get along with all the guys. I'm fine. Not knowing I wasn't fine. Not knowing that was not enough for me.
Mm.
And fortunate enough for me, she wasn't the only person that steered me in this direction because I was unsure. I'm the only woman, so I'm going for jobs that I felt men were more qualified for. But I started off as an environmental supervisor working with FEMs, field engineering mechanics, so environmental mechanics, excuse me. And from there, it just grew into a passion where because of my work ethic and my ability to learn and grasp things further, faster, I was able to move forward with my career, and I ended up writing contracts now for different contractors, and I have a staff of over 60 men, and I supervise 5 supervisors, and they're all men, and it all started from me wanting weekends and holidays off.
Wow, what a journey.
Yes, yes. And and I embrace every moment of it, and I absolutely love it.
That's excellent. Wow. You talk about the importance of women being their own ally at work. Can you explain what this means and why it's so crucial for women, especially in industries where they're often the minority?
This is why I started this, because like I said, even in the beginning, I didn't look to myself. That's not even why I went for higher positions. Other people saw things in me, but I didn't depend on myself. I didn't recognize the qualities I had in myself. And not having that and not knowing yourself, not understanding who you are, doesn't allow you to grow. So when we look for other people, when we look for allies outside of ourselves, we wait for them to validate us. So being your own ally, being your own friend, being your own support system is so important. And if that means getting help and understanding who you are, growing, becoming, then you should do that, because being your ally means you're not waiting for Bob to tell you you're amazing. You're not waiting for your mom or someone else to tell you all the value that you bring to the world. And understanding what an ally is allows you to pick the right people, because people can be your ally. I have a good friend. He's one of my best friends. Love him to life. Him and I, he's my confidant. But at the end of the day, he said to me one day, I was on a job that I was able to make more money. And he was like, well, Samantha, I was thinking of trying to take that job and have it for my crew. I was like, for what? He was like, well, you make enough. It is funny, even your allies who are friends, who push you, motivate you, go all the way for you. Still, in their mind, women are supposed to make a certain amount of money. Women are supposed to have certain things. And the thought of me having this extra, he didn't think I needed it. Not in a bad, malicious way, but these are the norms that society has said, that we have enough, we have this, or if you get this, that's enough for you. A man feels he's supposed to have more. A man feels he's supposed to get more, and what we have is enough. So being your ally, advocating for yourself, not looking for validation, is the most important thing you can do for yourself as a woman, especially in these male-dominated streets, because they're going, as my friend proved, they're going to look out for themselves first and foremost. Yes.
Oh, gosh, you've been a leader in a male dominated industry for decades. Can you share some of the most significant challenges you've faced and how to overcome them?
Yes. When I first became a supervisor, and I'm not even going to say just, and it still goes on.
Mhm.
People challenge my abilities and my capabilities as a supervisor. They will ask me, I had a person who worked for me tell me that I wasn't his boss. Now, he requests time off from me. He asked me for his job assignments. He do all of this. But he told me, I don't work for you. I'm not, because you're not a real supervisor. I said, well, who am I? I wanted to know. Well, who am I? And it took me going to the higher bosses to get him to understand these things. So that's one of the challenges, them questioning my qualifications. Well, what did you do? Or I had to over-explain things, or I did in the past. I over-explained what I did, how I did it, just to make them secure that I was capable and able. I remember putting myself in harm's way, showing up sick, not being well, going in despite being exhausted because I wanted to
Mhm.
prove that I was worthy, I was capable, and I was able, and I didn't want to miss a thing either. Because God forbid I miss something, then I would be out of the loop. So those are some of the challenges I face as a woman in these male dominated things, or sitting in a meeting and they want to overtalk you. They want to
Mhm.
tell you the answer when you already know. Having done the work on myself and being able to stand, as my mother used to say, flat footed in my abilities and my capabilities and my qualifications, I no longer waver. I stand up tall, I speak direct. Sometimes it's taking a deep breath or even revisiting the conversation later. But I am able to do that and feel okay with it, not wonder if I said the right thing or because there's no right or wrong in it. These are just facts, and I am the boss, and I make the decisions, and you have to follow. So learning that over time and respecting my own self. That's where it comes into respecting what you bring to the table.
Absolutely, and why not? I mean, the cheek of it, I don't get it, but I guess they are going to do that because, like you said, you're the minority in that room.
Yes. And when you're the first, the only, or a few, either they're challenging you, or they want to, if it's two or three, they're definitely going to try to put us against each other. Oh, you know
Mhm.
what this one did? She's amazing at that. Or so I face that also. And it's them not being comfortable with us. But that's not my
Mhm.
responsibility to make any man or any human comfortable with who I am. They need to figure out why they're uncomfortable. And as long as, and that's what we've been trained to do, especially as women, you know, to make everyone comfortable, make them feel good with who we are, especially me walking into an environment where they're not used to seeing a woman, then they're in frantic mode. Oh my goodness. I remember even a time when I first started and they had curtains hung up in a shop because they wasn't sure if I wanted to be in the same part of the shop with them. So they wanted to put me to the side because they were that uncomfortable and they didn't know how to interact with me, which is totally insane. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, their discomfort, they want to make my responsibility to make them to be comforted. That's another reason I believe in being your own self ally.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gosh, I'm loving it.
Yes,
Unbelievable at times, isn't it?
it definitely is. It's still to this day sometimes mind
Mm.
boggling what you experience as a woman. Like people have all types of experiences, not to minimize anyone, but women in these male dominated roles, they face different challenges because society tells us who we should be. Then we step out of the norm and we walk in bold and courageous, and people are picking at you, chipping parts of your way, and then you start to transform. So it's a lot that women who take on these challenging jobs deal with.
Wow, gosh. So you speak about the emotional toll that microaggressions and undermining behavior can have on a woman. What advice would you give any woman to maintain their confidence and well-being in the face of these challenges?
It starts with knowing you, getting to know
Mhm.
you, and a lot of times we don't. But if you learn to love yourself and respect yourself and understand where a lot of these feelings and thoughts are coming from, and if they're not your responsibility, and tapping into yourself,
Mhm.
that's going to allow you to take a moment and not take on. Like I said early in the game, I took on a lot of the
Mhm.
emotions and the doubts of the men, and I made it about me. But once you know yourself and you step into who you are truly, and you know what you bring to the table, even then, it may be some doubt, but when you can lean back into what you know for a fact,
Mhm.
that allows you to show up differently and take those emotions that you're putting into someone else's thoughts about you and being able to take them apart. Understand that those are thoughts that they're having about you that
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
making and owning as yourself. And it takes work. I don't want anyone to think that it's so easy. It's about going to work on yourself and understanding,
Absolutely.
you know, the I am state. I am capable. I am strong. I am a brilliant person. And understanding what you bring and being able to see that, your qualifiers, and being able to lean into that. Because a lot of times we only can see what we're going through at the moment. But if you keep them, when you can revisit them and you can see them, then you know, and not lean into their thoughts about you and take those too much statements. You're too loud. You're too nice. You're too animated, which I was told one time. You're too animated. Now I'm a boss and I'm being told this. And take them as your superpowers. You get to decide and redirect how you show up. That's what gives you that superpowerness. That's what gives you all the strength you need sometimes. And getting some place where you can just talk to people that understand. Because a lot of times people don't understand you. You're not asking them for validation, but being able to empty out your thoughts, get you a journal, write it down. You'd be surprised what that does for you as a human when you're able to empty out every one of those thoughts. And even after you empty out all the thoughts that are going on in your mind about thoughts that someone else had about you, ask yourself why they're bothered, why they're making you feel a certain way, and get an understanding of yourself. And that comes from self love. Self love, people patch it with self care, but that's not what this is. Self love is when you know you, when you know what you value, you bring, when you know your experience and you as a human are everything that you bring to the table and into this world is good and it's honest and you're moving in integrity, that in itself is everything.
Oh, love that. Absolutely love that.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Well, it's the truth. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. If more people could just actually harness a part of that even.
But it takes time. You know, we sometimes expect things overnight, but these are things I've learned over years,
Yes.
you know. Building that confidence, building that courage. A lot of it was torn down going into these work environments where people didn't accept me, didn't like me, just because I was a woman. So me doing the work, meaning I got a coach, me doing my affirmations, me reading, you know, allowing myself to tap out. People don't even know that you get to tap out. You get to stop. You don't have to show up to please everyone else. And a no is a complete sentence. Understanding that in itself is key to you thriving, not surviving, because that's what they teach us. You just got to get through the day. No, you don't, honey. You get to take a moment so that you can thrive without depleting yourself.
Wow. Brilliant. Love it.
Thank you.
You've helped women build confidence in both white collar and blue collar jobs. How do the challenges differ between the environments, and what similarities do you see when it comes to overcoming fear and reclaiming your power, Samantha?
Okay, blue collar, like I said, I worked with mechanics, real mechanics, structural, all the things. Working with men in that environment is different because it's free. And the things that are said, you kind of go, okay, because it is that environment. So, you know, you're being challenged on lifting, on pulling, on being able to operate machinery. So you're proving yourself there. You're proving that you can get into 1,000-pound machines and run them and operate them. And you're going out of your way and you're asking for more just to show that you're capable of doing it. So I've done all of those things. When I'm now on the other side, now I'm doing all the paperwork. Now I want to learn these are things that are similar. You're still wanting to know, hey, can I know how to do this? I want to be that person, that go-to person that everyone sees is capable, so they have to know that I'm deserving of this job. So in both times, blue collar and white collar, you're still trying to prove that you are worthy of having this job. You're going to lift more in one, and then you're going to ask for more paperwork on the other side. The difference is the microaggressions where the men will challenge you in a blue collar job, ask you to pick up the setting machinery. They will make it harder for you because, of course, this environment is different. So, what is excused, you know, that back and forth, that banter that men have with each other, they expect you to deal with it. And you get a tougher skin, thicker skin. My mouth is just rough some days because I had to learn to combat some of that and be able to speak their language.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one challenge and something that I learned. In a boardroom or in an office meeting, a man will sit up straight and look at you to intimidate you.
Mm-hmm.
Where men in the field intimidate you with machinery. Men in the boardroom will stand over you and speak to you. They'll raise your voice to quiet you down. Or they'll use words, like I said, animated. They'll say you're too nice. They'll look at all the things are good about you and make that the worst things about you. Or they'll look at a report and say that you didn't dot an I, you didn't cross a T. They
Yeah.
nitpick. Or if you're managing multiple teams, they're going to look at that. And the one that's not performing as well or as well as you wanted to, they're going to say it's okay. Or recently, I just had an employee come into my office. He was very angry, and because I was a woman and he was a man, and he wanted to tell me, Samantha, you only act like this because you're a woman. I took it to the higher ups. They said, well, Samantha, you have to learn how to deal with these things. So I should allow myself to be abused. So this is the way they think of women, where as a man, they would never allow a man to be treated like that. So they allow the bullying and management with women. And then they say that you just have to be more assertive. But if you're more assertive towards them, then you're aggressive. So they play the word game, the ones that
Yes.
help them. So that is the difference.
Wow. That's incredible. Really is. Yeah. And I can imagine you said about the language. I'm sure it's very colorful as well.
Yes, it is, and I'm not shying away from saying one or two things. And that's what I think we tend to adapt to our environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do it to get along or to fit in, where I think I did that before. But I know how to stand my ground. I know how to have them see me and understand exactly what I mean, and I'm no nonsense. So being able to do that is some of the things I've learned from being on both sides of things. As much as they're the same, is different. Men in the field are going to make your job difficult physically. Men in the office are going to make you mentally exhausted.
Wow.
Yes.
Gosh. Your coaching is centered around helping women show up authentically without shrinking themselves to fit into the male dominated spaces. What are some of the practical steps women can take to start embracing their true selves at work?
Our famous one, even outside the norms, we're going to start using no as that sentence. Stop wanting to be everything to everyone. That's the first thing. Understanding that what you bring is enough. You don't have to be everything to everyone. And knowing that you're okay as you are and practicing self-love. And that's one of the hardest things we do as women in jobs, is practicing self-love. Talking nice to yourself, not feeding into the babble that men tell you you should be. Allowing yourself to take a breath and to rest. These are just 4 of the steps, understanding who you are personally, who you are socially, meaning that ally to yourself, professionally, bringing your best self that you have to offer to your job, and all of your qualifying facts, and emotionally checking in with yourself, being able to understand why, asking yourself, why am I allowing this person to speak to me? Putting boundaries in place where they're going to respect you, even if you're afraid, because that's where this is rooted in. The fear of not being enough, the fear of not being accepted. So then we show up differently, and we're going in, we're fighting for everything, and that's exhausting in itself. So being able to understand where it's rooted in and where your emotions are coming from allows you to step into understanding why you're doing what you're doing, which can have you take step backs and reevaluate a situation, with a clear mind and a clear heart. And that's the most thing we do. You don't have to react. That's what I tell women all the time. You don't have to react.
Mhm.
And no matter what you say or do, it's no right or wrong to that. And not beating ourselves up, not punishing ourselves, or we didn't get it right. We didn't say the right thing. What you said was just enough at the right time.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that. You recently hosted a workshop on mansplaining. What are some of the strategies women can use to navigate and shut down mansplaining in professional environments? But just before you go into that, can you explain for the listeners what is mansplaining?
Mansplaining is what they do when they break things down for us in teeny tiny things so that they think they're allowing us to understand and comprehend. Um, that is one of the most annoying things. Mansplaining is speaking over you, talking over you, stopping you in a conversation, not allowing you to get your thoughts out. This is mansplaining, taking control of a conversation that was not even theirs, interrupting you so that you can't be, who you are in a conversation. Everything to make them feel good, basically, about who they
Okay, that makes sense.
are. Yes.
Wow.
When you are in these situations, you can, I'm going to give you permission, any woman, to stop the conversation. Thank you, but I'm going to finish my statement.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with saying that. And then reiterate what you were saying. That is showing love and respect to yourself and to your thoughts. You can say, well, excuse me, excuse yourself, and say that. You can also, I have this in my brain, you can then just take the conversation, besides stopping them, you can then interrupt them. You can stop them, interrupt them, or when they're finished, if you're not comfortable doing that, you can send an email saying as if you had what you said and then repeat what the person said. This is allowing them to know that you said it and how you said it. This is allowing everyone to understand that you made the statement first and that it was your idea, because men have a tendency to take over an idea as if it was theirs, because again, they're going to speak louder. They're going to try to take it and own it, where we haven't been taught to do that. We've been taught that men are smarter, they manage money better, they're the stronger, better species. So we allow this to happen. But you get to redirect the conversation. You get to write a follow-up email, taking control of the conversation, or just stop. And in all of this, you get to take a deep breath and let yourself know, I am okay, because our brain wants to protect us and keep us silent. So allowing yourself to know, I am okay, I am safe, and I'm still going to love myself enough to speak up for me.
Wow. Oh gosh, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah.
practice, though.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to think like, oh, I'm going to do it today. Because if you don't, be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself and speak nice and give yourself grace. We were not trained as women to do these things. We were trained as women to be okay and to make everyone okay with who we are. But we're in these rooms. We own it. We get to make everyone see us, allow everyone see us. And if they don't, or if they want to pass us over, you get to redirect them and say, hey, I'm here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the author of A Woman's Blueprint in Male Dominated Industries. Tell me more about your book.
It's an ebook, and I wrote it so that women could understand that how they show up is okay. They don't have to change or fit into a box. You don't have to be a transformer, like, Transformers, the movie. You don't have to transform. That you're strong, you're capable, that you can speak up, that you can just be you in these jobs, and you can go after these jobs. You don't have to leave. A lot of times we get so frustrated because things aren't going the way we want them to go, because people aren't giving us the respect. So we leave to make them comfortable. So this reinforces that self-love and that self-respect and your ability to stay in that job. Not if you're just unhappy. I'm not saying just stay, but if you're making the money you want, and if you're loving what you do, this book allows you to see that you can stay by learning certain simple steps to practice to keep it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes.
Wow. So what resources do you recommend, tools, daily steps to anyone that wants to start beginning to break free and thrive in the male dominated fields?
I believe a woman needs to build her confidence because a lot of times we walk into a new job. I keep saying courageous, confident, bold, all the things that people label us as now pioneers and trailblazers. But we lose it because of the little things that are happening between the mansplaining, the overtalking, aggressive way they approach us, the sensual way they step in. Hey, hun. Hey, babe. I'm always good for a good hun or babe. But when they try to control you or make you feel small when they say it, no, I'm not. So understanding where it's coming from, first tapping into who you are personally, understanding why you aren't showing up. That means learning about self-love, self-worth, self-confidence, all the self. Then we're going to tap into, I tell a woman to tap into a social setting, meaning what are you looking for around you that's going to validate you and start validating yourself. We're talking about socially, emotionally, learning where these feelings are coming from, why they're showing up. If it's something that happened 20 years ago or yesterday that has you showing up a certain way, that's fine. But I say get you a coach, get you a therapist so that you can allow yourself to explore so you can become who you want to be, not who society says, not who your family says, not who the world says you could be. You get to be you as a woman in any environment. So first tapping into you. And I say, a lot of people, oh, therapy works, and getting you a coach to get you to the next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more with you there.
And it works. It all works.
So where can the listeners find you online, your book? What's your website, Samantha?
My website is www.samanthakayeharris.com. The K is spelled out Kaye. They can find me there, and all my resources. I have a quiz, a confidence quiz for women in male-dominated positions, industries to take to see where you're ranging, where you're lacking, and it's going to give you information on how you can start to rebuild your confidence within yourself. So, yes. And I'm doing a workshop, and my plan is to also be able to offer that soon.
Excellent. That's fantastic. I love that. I love the fact you're doing a quiz.
Yeah.
And all the links will be in the show notes. So if that's for you, do go ahead and get that.
I'm excited for women to really explore who they are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
At every place in their lives.
So thank you for sharing your insightful wisdom and knowledge with us today. And by doing so, the work on yourself, by doing so, you have helped so many others make a difference. I really want to acknowledge you for that, Samantha Kaye.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And just know that this is personal for me, that I step into this knowing the struggles that women face in these male-dominated industries, and I want to see them be the best human they can be and to thrive without guilt, without shame. So thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to share and helping one woman at a time together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes.
So we are all about Create the Courage to be Fearless podcast here. What is your definition of courage?
Courage is standing up no matter what. Even when that fear kicks in, letting yourself know that you're safe. That's where courage comes from. Allowing yourself to do it scared. And even if you do it slowly, or even if you're taking baby steps, trust yourself, believe in you, and allow yourself to move forward in spite